Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope your day is starting off just great. As we scroll through this scene, let me introduce this video. There has been what I would describe as a seismic shift that's just occurred in the world geopolitical trade order, and it was brought about by the stupidity of Donald Trump. It involves China, India, and Russia, but it has ramifications for Canada. Let's go through it here. But incidentally, what do you think of my great panoramic shot I took while I visited the Alberta Badlands just last week? Let me explain how this situation has unfolded. Reported in India today, the headline is Modi, the Prime Minister of India, refused Trump's calls 4 times in recent weeks. US President Donald Trump made at least 4 attempts to talk to the Indian Prime Minister over the phone in recent weeks, but the Indian leader refused to talk to him. The attempts by President Trump to talk to Prime Minister Modi came even as his administration hit India with 50% tariffs, the highest for any country other than Brazil. And reported here on NDTV, US expert on Trump's India tariffs calls this a colossal blunder. And it's a colossal blunder of immense magnitude. There he is here, the buffoon wearing the hat that should read, "I'm a moron." This is the typical strategy that this man has, is to use social media to tweet or to use his Truth Social platform to insult and berate and be antagonistic to all the leaders in the world. We all know that he's done this with Canada, insulting us, threatening to make us the 51st state, escalating his trade war against us on social media. Recently, he's escalated against Brazil. He's imposed a 50% import tax on goods from Brazil because he disagrees with the Brazilian justice system. And now he's escalated against India. He's imposed a 50% import tax on goods from India. And he's used the reason that India is buying oil from Russia, and this 50% import tax on Indian goods is punishment for that. He thinks that insulting and escalating on social media like this is a tactic. Well, first I'll escalate and I'll be bombastic and I'll hit these countries with these big punishments, and then they'll call me and they'll want to make a deal. They'll come groveling back to me because I was right about everything, and they'll realize how smart and great I am, and when they come groveling back, I'll make the world's greatest deal. But the one thing that this guy doesn't understand is when you attack a country or a country's leader and you impose some sort of an economic penalty on them, it's not just the country's leader that you're communicating with, especially when you do it on social media, and then it's amplified in the media that we have today. You're speaking to all the citizens in that country. You're pissing everyone off. And do you know how many people live in India? This idiot has just pissed off 1.4 billion people, the world's 4th largest economy, soon to be the world's 3rd largest economy if the trends continue. An economy, a country that the United States had very good relationships with up till just recently. A country that's very strategic for the United States because that is the one country that's a member of the BRICS alliance, but still has close ties with Western countries. This is the one country with a population bigger than China that the United States had some leverage with. And so he thought it would be a good idea to pick a fight with them and throw this out, this, I'm going to hit you with a 50% import tax on all imports from India. Now I'll just wait for your call. I'll just wait for your call now. Well, why don't we try and call him? Get Modi on the phone. Well, he's not answering. Well, call him again. Why won't he talk to me? I'm the big guy. I've got my hat on that says I'm right about everything. Why won't he answer my calls? John Mearsheimer, a leading American international relations expert and professor of political science at the University of Chicago, has termed the Trump administration's India policy as a colossal blunder and asserts that the secondary tariffs on India for buying Russian oil won't work. It won't work with India. The Indians have made it clear that they will not cut off an importation of oil from Russia. Indians are not going to cave. Mearsheimer also accused Trump of poisoning a terrific relationship with India. And that's exactly what Donald Trump is doing. Reported here on CNBC, because the Indian Prime Minister won't even return his calls, now he has to double down and try and be the big guy. And the headline here is Trump calls India-US trade relationship a total one-sided disaster after Modi visits China. US President Donald Trump Monday doubled down on his criticism of India, calling trade ties with the country a total one-sided disaster after Indian Prime Minister visited China and attended Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit. Trump, in a post on Truth Social, also said that India had offered to cut its tariffs to zero, but it was getting late, and the country should have done so years ago. The reason that India has charged us until now such high tariffs, the most of any country, that our businesses are unable to sell to India, it has been a total one-sided disaster. But of course, data from the World Trade Organization shows that India has imposed 6.2% average tariffs on US imports into the country in 2024 on a trade-weighted basis, while the US has levied 2.4% tariffs on Indian goods. This is a fairly low rate, similar to most trade that the United States does with many countries on Earth. And in fact, India represented a growing and major partner in trade for the United States. But his bombastic buffoonery has led to this. Not only will the Prime Minister of India not return Donald Trump's calls, but he's been led straight into the arms of the Chinese. And now these two countries, both of which have been insulted by this idiot that's running the United States, the United States has pushed them both away, and they are pivoting, and they're going to coordinate their trade, excluding the United States. And if you don't see the magnitude of what this means, that's over 3 billion people that these two represent. 3 billion people. That's approximately 10 times as many people as live in the United States. But it's not just India and China. In this meeting that was just held in China, which Xi Jinping, the president of China, attended personally, something he would not do with Donald Trump. In attendance as well was Vladimir Putin, the leader of Russia. So this is what you've done, Donald Trump. You've cemented the opposition to the Western world against us. You have galvanized their resolve to work together. And reported here on Yahoo Finance, which tends to concentrate on the economic spin of the news, the headline reads, China's Xi redraws geopolitical map with embrace of Putin and Modi. Cameras captured the Chinese leader in a rare, unscripted huddle on Monday with Vladimir Putin and Narendra Modi, his most powerful partners in resisting America on the world stage, at a summit in the Chinese port city of Tianjin. I hope I said that right. At one point, Xi held the hand of his Indian counterpart as the three men laughed casually, a striking scene given just months earlier New Delhi and Beijing were seen as rivals. And let me make a comment here, because some viewers from Western countries may not see the immense significance of this, because in Canada and the United States and parts of Europe, we've grown accustomed to grown men, leaders of countries, just tweeting things and saying stupid things online. That's not how the Chinese work. The fact that their leader is being photographed here in person with the leaders of these other countries, and in their countries, in their culture, this would be the equivalent of them taking out a full-page ad in the New York Times on the Saturday edition that reads, Donald Trump, go fuck yourself. This week will be remembered as one in which the world shifted fundamentally. Now, at the beginning of the video, I said that this development would have a major global geopolitical impact and economic impact. But I also mentioned that it would affect Canada, because Canada will find itself in an uncomfortable place sort of in the middle here. Canada's biggest export market, as we know, is the United States, mainly because of our geography. That's just the way it is. We also know that Canada is trying very hard now to improve relationships with India. That's going on right now. And Canada is also in a trade dispute with China right now. And the article behind me here is from CBC, August 12th. China to set preliminary duty on Canadian canola after anti-dumping probe. China is in the process right now of retaliating against Canada because we imposed a 100% tariff on the import of Chinese EVs. So here's a situation that a few years ago, we stood in solidarity with the United States and imposed import tax on Chinese EVs. And now the United States has turned around and put an import tax on Canadian automobiles. So we're caught in a bad situation by both these countries. Canada now needs to rethink its entire strategy when it comes to the automotive sector. And as an optimist, I would suggest that there could be a situation here where Canada can make some sort of a deal with China. And maybe as part of that deal, we can convince BYD, the Chinese company, to commit to manufacture some of their vehicles in Canada. And this is not going to get resolved overnight. Remember that the USMCA CUSMA agreement comes up for renegotiation next year. I don't think that anything will really be finalized until then. And there's no guarantee that we can go back to free trade in the auto sector after it's renegotiated. And there's also no guarantee that the US administration will change its mind or change its position after Donald Trump's term is over. Will Trump's term ever really come to an end? Now that he's mobilizing the military in a lot of Democrat cities, is this in preparation to use the military during the midterms or the next election? That's the topic for another video. But if Canada maintains these 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs, China's not going to back down on this canola tariff, and there may be more to come. And what are we fighting for here? Tesla's market share? Elon Musk's wealth? Tesla has launched its sales in India, a country of 1.4 billion people, and so far they've sold 600 cars. And this is the company that we're choosing to protect with 100% tariffs on Chinese EVs? There's got to be a better way. There's got to be a deal that we can do with China. And I'm interested in your comments in the comment section here, because this is a tricky situation. One of the reasons that we agreed to impose these tariffs against China was to protect our auto industry, because the Chinese can just manufacture these things much cheaper than we can. But since the Americans have imposed import taxes on Canadian cars, our exports are way down anyway, down something like 25% in the second quarter. So we're being attacked by the United States. We thought they were our friend. So now we need to find new friends, and perhaps opening the door to China can help the auto industry in Canada and send a really strong message to the United States. So the takeaway in this video is no country is going to be able to push India around. India is a huge country, the fourth largest economy on earth, with patriotic and proud people. And they're going to do what's best for them, no matter what Donald Trump says. And the repercussions of this US policy is going to change the geopolitical landscape in the world. And Canada, in its medium to small boat, is going to have to navigate its way through these troubled waters. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed my video. Subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content. If you want to support my work, consider becoming a channel member by clicking the join button. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all on the next one.